Time to have a look at some of the things that are happening in the world of science. We do that with Professor John O'Connor from the University of Newcastle Sciences. And John, today we're doing something that you would kind of not necessarily think of in the science or the tech world or indeed the health world. But the tattoos are actually, there is a way that they are actually now part of this mix. What's happening?
Yes, it's interesting. Actually, science fiction often beats science. And 25 years ago, in a book called The Diamond Age, they actually brought this prospect up that you could actually have tattoos that, in that case, were cosmetic. They would change under certain stimulus.
Is that where you guys get the ideas from? You just,
of course.
We have some films from 20 years ago. We'll load them in.
Why do you think we like science fiction? But an academic at University of Colorado has actually been focusing on this, and that he and a number of others, in fact there's an Australian connection here too, have been working on different types of tattoos, both tattoos which are embedded in the skin and also wearable tattoos, which give you information about the person. Now, one that the academic in the US developed was one that measured UV radiation. So he had the tattoo under his skin. When he got exposed to more than enough UV radiation from being out in the sun, it would change colour to blue and remind him that he needed some sunscreen on. Now, that's a pretty natty little thing, but there are a lot of other really valuable things it could do. And whether we're talking about a wearable tattoo, a stick-on thing, which is reported just recently, an ANU academic developed one which measured hydration, whether someone needed to drink more. A real issue for elderly people. They just lose the sense of thirst, and they do need to consciously drink water. Or it's blood glucose, or it could be sodium, or it could be the pH of the blood. It could be heart rate in some cases.
So I guess the thing with these, John, is that they as the technology grows in this area, which we're sort of hearing about as kind of a brand new thing, it can sort of be tailored towards whatever the ailment is or whatever the deficiency or might be.
Exactly. And so you can imagine coming up on a person who's collapsed. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have the medical training to work out why is that person down. Is it something to do with heart rate? Is it blood glucose? Is it hydration or whatever? If you can imagine you could turn over their arm and read on their arm glucose, then okay, you know that they're diabetic and they've got going through a diabetic seizure. If you see hydration, yep, you found someone out in the bush who's really dehydrated. So these things could be really handy for first responders, especially inexperienced first responders who might be the likes of me, and they can identify, but also they can be routine things. So, as you go about your day, if there's something about your glucose level, you don't have to keep testing your blood glucose. If this thing was monitoring all the time and then change colour on your skin and actually read out glucose, otherwise it was transparent, it would really save people a lot of testing. It would save people who are perhaps absent-minded doing this. It really could be quite a boon for maintaining constant health.
And I guess as well, when you are talking major health problems like that, seconds and mere moments can seem like hours in terms of getting the right treatment early.
Yes, and the other thing too, this can actually detect things that you don't necessarily look for. I understand that some cancers do affect the calcium levels in your blood, and so if you had some sensor on your some part of your body that would measure calcium, you may when you go for an annual checkup, you may not even get that check done. But if this thing is sitting there all the time and it starts to appear on your arm or whatever, then it gives you a chance to get very early warning. And of course, in a case of a cancer, that's really important. So time in the matter of minutes, in the case of glucose, hydration, whatever, time within days or weeks in the case of cancers really can make a big difference.
Yeah, particularly if you've got a history of that particular cancer in your family. I guess the opportunities are endless on this, John, and who knows, just have to get this become fashionable. You go to people who go to a tattoo parlor, you have glucose or water or something.
Or perhaps all of them, and they're invisible until something goes wrong. But this... I should say this isn't available right now as something routine, but they're certainly working on it very hard. And the idea is to try and get these things so that they are embedded but not visible, unless a problem arises.
All right. So for those who aren't really liking the tattoo look, you can still get the concept. A couple of things to think about as we move into the future there with our Professor of Science. He loves the science fiction as well by the sound of things. You get all the ideas from. John O'Connor, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
2NURFM, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.